Good morning, everybody. It's 8:45 here, Vegas time. Monday morning. It's already like 84 degrees outside. I could tell it's going to be a hot day. Hey, I have been trying to keep up on this story, what's going on in this camp that was found in Tucson, Arizona. I can tell you guys, I've looked over the videos and stuff, and I hear what these guys are saying, and I have an issue with this, and I want to show you guys something because the first time I ever watched this video, or the video about the camp, there was something that was glaringly obvious to me. And I want to give you guys a little bit of background. I buy storage auctions. I go to the storage auctions. I buy the storage facilities that people, have trouble paying for and stuff like that, and their stuff goes up for sale. So I went on to storagetreasures.com because it's one of the websites that I roam the auctions and look for things to buy. I buy and sell office furniture though. Okay? So anything that I get out of one of these storage auctions, file cabinets, desks, stuff like that, I clean up. If they need file cabinets need lock and keys and stuff like that, I make sure I get them replaced, and I repaint the file cabinets if they need to be. But there's something that I noticed about this camp, okay? They're calling it a child sex camp. And a part of this footage, they're showing these straps on a tree, okay? Now, this is exposed to the weather in Arizona. It's out in the middle of the desert. And I have to show you guys something because things that are exposed to the weather in these auctions, I want to show you guys if you can see here. Let me adjust this just a little bit. Everything behind these roll-up doors at auctions are completely covered with sand, this fine granular sand, because all of this stuff is in the desert. Even though it's behind a closed door, guys, everything in these storage auctions are covered by a fine layer of sand, okay? Everything that's stored in these outdoor storage sheds here have a coating of film of sand across it, okay? The floors are always sandy, and everything inside the storage unit, even though it's behind a closed door, is going to get this layer of sand on it because it's in the desert. Here's one right here. It's one of the things that we look for when we go to an auction and we're bidding on these units. The most important thing is to make sure, because the law states that they're not supposed to go into the unit and go through all this stuff. I mean, there are storage facilities that do this, that'll go through and pick out what they want, or they'll set up a storage unit to make it appear as if it is somebody has lost this storage unit or whatever. I mean, there are many tactics and tricks that these storage auctions, these storage facilities use. And so we're aware of it. One thing that I look for is to check in the dust on the floor to make sure first that there is a layer of dust, okay? Secondly, that there's no footprints or anything in it, okay? And you can tell, see, everything. And it's not just stuff by the door that gets it. The entire storage unit will be covered with this layer of sand. Everything in the storage unit gets it because it's out in the desert, and we get these high winds, and when it kicks up that sand, it will get inside of these storage units, and it covers everything. Okay, so my eye is trained, because I've done this for so long. My eye is trained to look for proof that these items have been sitting in the storage unit a long time, that they haven't been tampered with, or the storage unit has not been set up. It's not a fake storage unit. There are some owners of storage facilities that will, if somebody can't pay their bill and they foreclose on a storage unit, they will set up another storage unit, an empty storage unit. And the foreclosed units, they will rifle through all the stuff and sell it themselves. And what they don't sell, they or not worth any money. What they do is they put the stuff in another storage unit, and once that storage unit gets full of all of these other storage units that foreclosed on and they couldn't sell the stuff, they'll put it in another storage unit, fill it up, and sell it. And individuals that buy these storage units really get screwed, guys, because there's a bunch of empty boxes. There's nothing in there of real value that could sell for people to recoup their money. You might find a nice washer and dryer in there, and it will get people to bid on it. But you take that washer and dryer home and you find out neither one of them work. So people that buy these staged storage units, really get screwed. Okay, so there are storage facilities that really do this. Okay, and one sign of a staged storage unit is the lack of dust on the stuff. It hasn't been there very long, especially not long enough to even foreclose on the thing. Okay, so this is what my eye is geared to looking at, is looking for the dust. It gives you an indication how long this stuff has been there. Okay, it's the first thing that I noticed about this child sex camp. These white straps on the exposed to the weather, they're nailed to these trees. The lack of dirt on these straps. I mean, if somebody was strapped to this, you would see sweat marks, plus with the sand and stuff out there in the desert and the wind blowing, these straps would not even be white anymore. Okay? Look at that. I mean, that's amazing how white those things are. Okay, so that tells me that those straps have not been there very long. Okay, I don't know if these guys put these straps up there just for show. They haven't been there very long. Okay, and there is no dirt. There's no sand. Even here you would see some accumulation of this dust and sand that's out in the desert because of the wind and stuff like that. These things are just way too white. They're exposed to the weather out there because they're nailed to a tree. This gives me an indication that, one, this camp is fairly new, or two, that there was some staging going on. Okay, and that's where my mind initially goes, is to the staging, because of the fact that I deal with auctions and I know what this stuff should look like. Anything that has been out in the Arizona desert or Nevada desert for any length of time is not going to look like this. It is not going to be this white. It's just not, guys. And so that made me skeptical of what this camp really is, or how much staging has gone on in this camp. I'm going to show you a piece here too. In the beginning, okay, because I know many of you guys don't live in the desert and you're not sure exactly what to look for, but I'm going to show you. Let's see. The inside of that tank. Let's see if I can find the video. Oh, come on. This video, God, it's so funny because these videos, they focus so much on this guy yelling. I want to show you guys. Well, that's not a very good thing. That's not a very good example. I'm trying to find it. I was looking at the inside of this tank also. Now I can see the place is dirty, and you see everything outside here that they're filming. The guy's moving the camera pretty quick. But everything that's exposed to the weather, you could see it's not shiny. It's not, all of this stuff is covered in a layer of dust. Okay? Everything that's exposed to the weather in the desert has this effect, and it's very damaging to stuff. Our patio furniture, stuff like that. I mean, it can wear out furniture pretty quick. Okay, so let's go to the pictures. This here, even across, this is inside of the container thing where the children are supposedly housed. I can see that there is a fine layer of dust. It's very fine. Okay? Being outdoors like that, if it was a camp that had been there for a long time, this would be utterly filthy, guys. This board going down right here, I can see a fine layer of dust on it, but not like it has been out there for any length of time. Maybe it hasn't been out there for 6 months. This camp is fairly new. Look here on the floor and on, what is this, the mattress or whatever this is here. You see this green little basket is nice and shiny. This little bag, whatever it is, it's nice and shiny. There's no brown spots or beige spots on this here at all. Once again, this is indicative of something that's not been exposed to the weather for very long. Now, this is inside of that tank. So, you know, it does have some shelter. But like these storage units I was telling you guys, all of this stuff has shelter too. But it manages to get this layer of dust across it anyways because the winds are so crazy here. Okay? So this is what I would be looking for in that camp, is that layer of dust across everything. And I'll tell you guys, I just don't see it. I don't see it on this stuff. This stuff is still too shiny, too clean to have been out there for, you know, any period of time. So it makes me really skeptical about what they're saying this camp is actually used for. I think they're hyping this up to a degree for maybe funding or donations or for their work or whatever. But I can tell you that while some parts of this does appear that the items have been exposed to the weather for a long period of time, a lot of this I can see hasn't. I think it's been staged. So I don't know who these guys are, but I have issues with the story being reported because I believe that some part, not all of the camp, but some of this camp, there's some staging that's going on. And this camp has not been around this because there's parts of this camp that just don't have the filth that I would expect to see if it had been used and exposed to the weather in Arizona. So let's see if I could straighten this up again. You could see here this black, just this black trash can here, how filthy it is. The suitcase on top of it is completely covered in dust. You know, the boxes, everything